Hey, everybody. So, look, we are on a podcast where you actually can see us. We're really excited. We've been on a hiatus for a long time, and we are back now with all of our travel tips, travel adventures. But this time we have a visual. You can actually see us and we can talk to you. So, we're super excited. It's going to be a great adventure, and I hope you subscribe to a YouTube channel because there's going to be a lot more episodes. Follow us on social, and also know that you can find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you look for your podcast. Come join me. Hi, I'm Colleen Kelly, and this is Round Trip with Colleen Kelly, your go-to podcast for unforgettable travel stories, top tips, and all adventures you've been waiting for. And today we have the senior travel editor for U.S. News and World Report on. I'm very excited. She's going to talk to us about their big report, the 2025-2026 Best Travel Rewards. So we're excited to have her on the show. All right, everybody, I got some exciting news. U.S. News and World Report just released their 2025-2026 Best Travel Rewards, and we are lucky enough to have Elizabeth von Tersch, senior editor at U.S. News, with us today. So welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Colleen. Happy to be here.
Oh, we're excited. I mean, the reward program can be very confusing for a lot of people, including me, and I'm very much a advocate of it. But tell us a little bit about U.S. News Report, you and these rewards, because I think this will help a lot of consumers.
Absolutely. So, US News and World Report is well known for their rankings in general. So, a lot of people are familiar with the best college rankings, best states. So, in the travel area, you kind of focus on a similar methodology of helping consumers make informed decisions, helping travelers make informed decisions. So that we have best travel rewards rankings, best vacations, best hotels, best cruises, as well as some travel advice on our site. So all things travel. It's kind of your one-stop shop.
And what I love about it too is, you go on social media and you see these companies pitching you, but you have the methodology that actually really delve into which are really the best reward programs, and that there's something to be said for that. So, how does the average traveler use this knowledge that you put out there?
Absolutely. So these are really geared toward the everyday traveler. So with that in mind, we do try to kind of keep it as simple as we can. The biggest thing we look for in our rankings is how quickly a member is going to earn a free hotel night or flight with that program. So I think it's such an easy way for consumers to be able to tell, okay, how much am I going to offset my travel costs with this program? It's such a quantifiable measurement among programs. We do also look at some of the benefits that these programs provide. So, free checked bags, free room upgrades, that type of thing. And we consider the network size too. So, really helping those everyday travelers who are maybe just getting started in their loyalty journey or maybe looking to change a program after some changes, things like that.
So they can use this knowledge to kind of say, all right, now I want to sign up with the choice privileges, which you said was one of the best hotel reward program. Why did you choose choice? And of course, there was a whole list in order as one of the best hotel reward programs.
Absolutely. So Choice really excelled this year in their earning rate. So starting with about 9 nights, you're going to earn a free night with that program on average. So average across all hotel brands was about 15 nights. So you're shaving off a good number of nights before you're earning a free night with Choice. They also have pretty attainable status compared to other programs. So starting with 10 nights with Choice, you're going to earn perks like early check-in, late checkout, and free room upgrades. Other large brands, you're not going to see all three of those perks until 25 or even 40 nights. So, really attainable perks through Choice. And then, one thing that they've kind of recently gotten into a little bit more, which has really helped them in our rankings too, they've added some diversity into their portfolio. So, Choice is really known for their budget offerings, right? They have Econo Lodge, they have Quality Inns. But they've recently added Radisson hotels to their portfolio in the last couple of years, and then they've expanded a partnership with Preferred Hotels, which are luxury independent properties. So you can use your choice points there too. So I always like to say maybe take your kids to the Quality Inn for your family vacation to a national park, and then use them on a romantic getaway with your partner, a
Oh my
luxury.
gosh. I love that. Yeah, put the kids at the Quality Inn. They don't care. They just want a bed anyway.
Exactly.
I love that idea. I just stayed at the Radisson and I enrolled in choice because usually I'm a Marriott person.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that the Radisson was involved. So that was really cool because that is more of the, I would call it the romantic type hotel, sure. But yeah, that is great. Also too, I travel a lot, so I can hit 25 nights. Relatively easily, but somebody that travels only a couple of times a year, this is a great way to get involved with rewards, but not have to stay so many nights because some of that sounds unattainable for the average cat traveler. For sure. So this is great. And tell me the other two. I saw Wyndham and World of Hyatt, and I'm a Marriott person, so that came in at number 4.
Yes. So
Not
Wyndham,
bad.
like Choice, they were averaging about 9 nights before you earn a free night. So again, really strong earning rate with that program. It's also a very large network, kind of like Marriott. So no matter where you're going, chances are you're going to be able to find a Wyndham property where you can use your points or earn your points. Now, World of Hyatt is a really fun program. I like some of the things that they're doing. One of those is that they just do a really great job of combining a diverse range of parties. So between your more affordable options like Hyatt Place, and then all the way up to your luxury properties like Park Hyatts, you actually don't see a huge range in points required to stay there. So if you're looking to book a luxury hotel room with points without spending literal millions of points like you do with some other programs, World of Hyatt's going to be great for that. They have something also called the Brand Explorer program, which I think is just really fun. Anytime you stay at 5 unique Hyatt properties, you earn a free night with them. So, sorry,
What?
Hyatt brands. Sorry, not properties, but
Only
yes,
five, only
yeah,
5, and you get a
yeah,
free night.
yes. So,
That's
and
that's
there are
incredible. Is that new?
30. It's they've had it for a couple years now, but they have more than 30 brands now. So in theory, over the course of your membership, you could earn about 6 nights that way. So yeah, just
Oh
a
my
really fun
gosh.
opportunity.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that for sure because
Yes,
that's incredible to get that after 5 nights. That's unbelievable.
yes,
That's
it
that's a lot of value. That's what I think anyway. Okay, let's talk about airlines, airline rewards programs because you've got a whole list here, but the top 3 were Alaska, United, and American. I fly American primarily. I know it's associated with Alaska, but Alaska Airlines surprised me that that came out first for the reward program.
Yes, you know what? I get that a lot, and I get the comment that, "Okay, well, I'm not based on the West Coast, so what's our program for me?" But you made the comment that it is connected with American. So as part of the One World Alliance, it does have some really good partnerships where you're able to kind of diversify that network a little bit. But where Alaska really shines is how easily you can earn a free flight with that program. So the airline is miles based. So you're earning miles based on how far you're flying, not how much you're spending. So it's the only ranked program that still has like that more traditional structure to it. But if you're taking, longer flights like the San Fran to Newark route, even once or twice a year, you're going to rack up quite a few points that way. You also earn a minimum of 500 miles, no matter how short your flight is. So if you're taking those quick Portland to Seattle trips, you're still going to earn a minimum of 500 miles. So they can really rack up pretty quickly. And then another perk is that you typically spend less to earn elite status with Alaska too, which I know everybody likes to hear.
Yeah. Well, that was the issue. They changed it to where you have to spend more and then you get a higher tier. So it's nice to know that Alaska is still sticking with the old model, which I liked because you could take that big route, like you just said, from New Jersey all the way to California, and then you got credit for those miles instead
Yeah,
of how much you spent. So good for
exactly.
Alaska for doing that. I may have to jump on them a little bit more, I think. But the other question I had was, and this is totally biased. I am a big American Airlines, as I said, flyer. That's all I fly. But United edged out American. So why was that?
Yes. So United, well, first of all, I'll focus on American for a little bit. So this is a
Okay.
huge network, and I know a lot of people who fly it a lot simply because of all the direct flights that they offer. Really popular airline. So they do that really well. They also offer the most flights available to book with points. So really great for those who maybe don't live near a hub but still want a lot of choice when they're flying. Now, United edged them out just slightly. They had a little bit better earning rate for earning a free flight. And then they also had more ways that you can earn and redeem points through that program. So that's really nice for everyday travelers, the ones who aren't flying constantly and able to rack up those miles, is looking for the other everyday ways that you can earn points just to kind of make it a little bit more worthwhile for you. So United really excels in that. I think a couple of my favorite examples lately is their dining program. So you link up to their dining program with your credit card, and then every time you dine at one of their participating restaurants, you earn points automatically when you pay with that card. And then another thing I just saw they're having, which is relevant for me with my children, but they're having a bonus on back to school shopping. So if you buy some back to school supplies for your kids, you're going to earn a miles bonus there too. So just
Oh,
lots of neat-
really? And that's
yeah,
very expensive when they go back to school. Because American has the dining, but they don't have the back to school. My kids are now older, so thank God I don't have to do that, but that's a
yeah.
great perk there, which I not know about. Okay, so let's talk about when you join one of these reward programs. I have a lot of friends that actually don't see why they should, but according to one of your reports, 72% of summer travelers altered their plans because of rising costs. So, what is a good travel reward tactic that you'd recommend to cut costs?
Absolutely. So I know I get that question a lot too, and you were talking about whether loyalty programs are worth it. I would say absolutely. First of all, they're free to join, so why not get something back for what you're spending? If you're going to be taking that trip anyway, you might as well earn a little bit back through the program. Now, a tactic, a lot of people ask about credit card tactics. I think having at least one transferable card is a great choice, as well as joining the airline program. That way, you're typically earning points through your credit card as well as through that program. So you're kind of double dipping a little bit on that. But I think I already mentioned it a little bit, but like the very first step after you sign up is taking a look at all those easy ways that you can earn points on everyday things. Linking your accounts is really popular with Lyft and Uber and those types of programs. You kind of set it and forget it, right? You link your account and then you never have to think about it again. You're just going to earn whenever you use that app. So those are the types of things I like to look out for when I'm first signing up for a program. Make sure I have everything kind of set up so that I can maximize my miles.
So that's what I do. I take my Lyft and my Uber, and it takes a little, 2 seconds
Yeah.
like, connect them. But once it's in, and you get those points. So that's a really good tip right there for people that if you're gonna take an Uber anyway, you might as well get something out of it, through your airline reward program or what have you. And another thing that you just kinda mentioned, and what was it? It was about, the credit cards, because the credit cards are great, if you pay them off each month. That's the key, everybody. Don't get one of those credit cards unless you pay them off. But I did get one of the credit cards with, I think it was Marriott Bonvoy, and you might know about this. And there was a fee each year, but I travel a lot. And I got an extra, I don't know how many nights, but I got maybe like 15 nights deposited into my. So I was kind of ahead of the game by using that credit card. What would you suggest for credit cards for people, you know, um, to make the most of the rewards program, something like the Bonvoy card or even like the American Airlines card? Is it worth it for them to get a credit card in terms of maybe they travel that airline a lot?
Right, absolutely. So that was my going to be my point. I think if you are looking to be pretty consistent with that brand, it absolutely can be worth it. One of the kind of the things that I look for when I'm first looking at a credit card, whether or not it would be worth it for me, I look at kind of the base perks that you get. So for airline cards, for example, a lot of the entry level cards, you're getting the free checked bags, not just for you, but with everyone on your ticket typically. We know check bags now are going to cost you about $100 round trip per person, right? So automatically, if your card is than $100 annual fee, you're pretty much earning that back right away if you're taking one or two flights with that program. One thing that I am a little wary of with credit card kind of benefits are anything to do with like a flight credit or a hotel credit, only because if you don't have a specific purpose for that credit yet, sometimes that expiration date can sneak up on you, and then you're planning a trip just to use that credit and spending
Oh,
more money than you really needed to in the first place.
so you're not really
Um,
saving, but, forces you
exactly.
to plan a trip, I guess, right?
Right, right, true. Yeah. So it's not necessarily negative, but you are booking an unexpected trip in the
Actually, I mean, from personal experience, like you just mentioned, those baggage fees are so high.
yes.
And if you've got 4 people in your family, it's ridiculous. Even if you have 2 bags where you put everything in, that's what we did prior to having free baggage. We got 2 big bags and, the girls would share, I would share it with my husband instead of having 4 bags.
Yes.
But these airline cards have paid off over and over again for
Yeah.
us. However, if my husband doesn't travel with me, he doesn't get a free bag because he's secondary on my credit card.
Mhm.
So he ended up
Mhm.
getting his own credit card for another $95, which seems like a lot. So I have one for 95. He's got one for 95. But then when we looked, if he went on, like you just said, 2 trips a year, it paid for it automatically. So
Exactly.
those are the best perks, and they just keep getting higher, these baggage fees.
Yes.
So
I
yeah,
don't
but
think that'll
again,
change either. So
oh, no, no, they've made billions, so I think they're
yeah.
gonna stick with that for sure, but, the credit card is good, especially the $95 a year. There are some more expensive ones that are 5 or 600,
Yeah.
but those are more, I would say, for the traveler that is traveling a lot, and
Right.
can make that large amount, work out for them. So let's talk about some other things. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about, maybe some tips for people for traveling, and more reward program tips that maybe I haven't thought about asking you?
Yeah. So I think that for those that aren't looking to get elite status or maybe don't tough to achieve elite status or don't want to pay for a really high end credit card, there are still some ways that you can kind of maximize what you're earning. I mentioned a little bit double dipping, where you're earning both on your credit card and through at least one program. So that's always something to look into. And then I know people get a little scared when you talk about points transferring. I think that's where sometimes people are like, oh, well, that's just too much for me to try to figure out. But it can absolutely be worthwhile to take a look at those opportunities. A lot of airlines and hotels offer transfer opportunities through that program. And then, of course, some credit cards, even those with less than $100 annual fee, have points transfer opportunities. And with the credit cards, especially, you're going to see some bonus options. So you get maybe a 20 or 50% points bonus when you transfer. You're basically just multiplying your points for free, which is a really great opportunity to really maximize things.
And what is so I don't actually do that. What is one example of a credit card that you can transfer those points? And what do points mean? Because a lot of people think, "Oh, miles," but points are earned on other credit cards. What does that mean to the consumer?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question because I do think it's something that people just don't really understand right away. So,
Mhm.
you have your transferable credit cards. So things like they're not affiliated with a specific airline or hotel. So those are going to be like your Capital One Venture cards, your Chase Sapphire cards, your Amex non-co-brand cards, and those you earn basically travel points through those cards. You can either use those points through the travel portal for that credit card, but you can also transfer those points to other brands. So, for example, the Chase Sapphire card right now I own, and I can transfer those points to World of Hyatt. So if I'm wanting to book a Hyatt hotel room and don't have enough points in my Hyatt account, I can transfer some over. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. And then they also transfer to other airlines. So right now they have a 20% bonus on Air Canada. So this is where it gets a little complex, but The same flights with United were going to be about 75,000 miles per person. This is I'm looking to take my family to Quebec City for
Okay.
the winter. So this is
Beautiful
a real
city.
life example. Yeah. So tickets were going to be about 75,000 to United miles, not dollars.
Yeah.
And then if you
That's high.
transfer, yes, if you transfer
Yeah.
points to Air Canada, those same flights, same exact flights through Air Canada were 35,000
What?
per
I
person.
had no
Yes,
idea. I don't do this. I had
yes.
no idea. So you
Plus
were
I
able
got
to take
a 20 plus I got a 20% bonus on my Air Canada points through that transfer bonus. So, yes, so it was a win for sure on that one.
that is really brilliant. I'm glad you explained that to me because I have the credit card that is just the miles. Now I'm gonna get the Chase Preferred. Did that come in number 1, um, on your
So,
report?
I'm not sure where that we actually have a separate travel credit cards ranking that my
Okay.
money team covers. So yeah, definitely take a look at that for options. I'm not sure if that's number one or not, but it is a great card. So that's for
And
sure.
it's great for families. Like you said, you can use your points and, you're paying what for tax? Sometimes like $11, and that's it. And you've got a
Yep.
family of 4. Now you gotta buy the hotel well, you might get your hotel points too, I bet you do. You probably use points for hotels, right?
Okay, I
But
try
it's
to when we can.
expensive. It's
Yeah.
expensive to take your family. Everything's like quadrupled. But I did hear that Canada is like 30% off. I think our dollar is very strong there. So this is what I heard. I don't know if that's the recent news. Maybe that was a few months ago, but if you go out to dinner, I used to tell my husband, I'm like, well, this is actually 30% less. So, you know, I mean,
Right.
because the dollar was strong. I hope that's the case for you too right now. I'm
Right.
sure I could look
Yes.
that up. But let's talk a little bit also about how can travelers use loyalty programs for all-inclusive stay deals? This is something I didn't know about. Can they use
Yes.
that?
Yes, so it depends on the brand. So each brand kind of has their own kind of restrictions on that. But that is a really strong perk for one that comes to mind right now is Wyndham. You can definitely use your points on all inclusive stays with Wyndham, which is fantastic. Obviously, you cover not only your hotel costs, but your food and beverage costs too. Now, of course, it's going to cost more points than a regular property typically would cost, but it's if you have enough points, it can definitely be worth it to do that. And there are a couple other programs I can't think off the top of my head right now, but definitely check out our rankings, and we mentioned those in there.
Yeah, and again, that's US News and World Report. Very, very good information and really good information for consumers and anybody flying or doing any kind of traveling. But speaking of traveling, prices are rising. Unfortunately, that's what they do. So, how do you decide when it's better to redeem points and give up those points versus just paying cash and saving the points? Because I'm going to Arizona next week, and we decided to say it's to visit my mother-in-law, and we decided to pay the cash rather than use our points. What would you tell people?
So I would always say it's typically better to use the points if you have them rather than letting them pile up. Just because those points, it is true they do devalue over time, sadly. For
Mhm.
example, the average number of miles when we did our research last year in 2024, the average miles needed to book a flight was about 22,000. This year, it was about 25,000. So, yeah, points values did go down a little bit over time for airlines. Um, I will say, though, I wouldn't rush to spend your points on kind of smaller extra things. Like sometimes people use them through the shopping program or just to kind of use them up, or some even use them through Lyft or Uber or things like that. It's not going to be the best value to use your points. So if you can save enough for that flight or hotel room, that's really where you're going to get the most out of them for sure.
So for us, when we're going to Arizona next week, we're staying at a Fairfield because it's the close my mother-in-law is out in the country, and so it's the closest to her. For us, it was like $80 a night, and we were able to use our points a few months ago on a trip to Fiji, 2 nights. So for us, that kind of value worked, but I didn't know that they devalued after a while, so good thing we already used them. But yeah, so I guess it's a kind of a game, if you want to use spend that cash, or use the points. But we're trying to hold the points for like the bigger hotels that really would be too expensive to stay at. So there's a lot of
Yes.
those.
Yes,
All right,
and
for people that are
that's a great strategy too. Everyone's different. Everyone has their, but your point is correct. Where if you're otherwise unable to afford that property, it can be great to save up until you have enough.
Okay, so for people that are just starting out and getting into this reward game, what would you suggest? Would you suggest they get the credit card with the points or the airline and hotel card if they're just kind of thinking, okay, I'm just going to get one?
So I would recommend kind of the transferable card if you like kind of the flexibility in terms of credit cards. Now the rewards programs are definitely free, so those you should sign up for absolutely if you're taking a flight or booking a hotel room with that program. Definitely sign up for. But in terms of credit cards, if you are only getting one, I would probably go with that more flexible option, and then maybe look at a co-branded card, like for a hotel program or for a
Mhm.
airline program, if you know you're going to be consistently using them.
Okay, so I love that. Yeah, just kind of just start with one and know that you might stick with that same airline or stick with that hotel. That's I think is the key. When I started out, I don't know, 15 years ago, I would go on different airlines. Some of them I didn't even sign up for the rewards program, like you just said, it was new, and I'm still kicking myself on that one, but that's okay. I learned, which
Yes,
is
I
good.
think that is a common mistake, though. People think, "Well, I'm only flying it this one time, so I'm not gonna
Mhm.
sign up." But some of them, like Delta and United, and for hotels, I think Best Western might be one of the only ones, but their points never, ever expire. So there's kinda no caveat on that, which is wonderful. So even if you just fly once this year, but then you end up booking them more next year, your points are still there waiting for you, and you can build on them. So that's
Okay, I
always
like Best Western already. I like that
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm sure I've got some in their box somewhere. I'm gonna have to check that right after this interview, how much I have because I have stayed at several Best Westerns. So that's good to know. Okay, so let's talk about underrated travel rewards that savvy travelers should be using more in 2025. Like, what are some underrated ones? You're like, give us a little inside scoop.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So,
boy.
for airlines, I really like what JetBlue is up to these days. So it's a little bit smaller network, of course, but their benefits are pretty nice. They're starting to with some of the bigger brands. Later this year, they are planning to introduce lounges for their members, which is nice. That was kind of where they didn't have that offering before. And then they're also partnering with United for this Blue Sky partnership, which is really going to expand their network. So I think they're kind of a program to watch a little bit for sure.
A little,
Um,
little bit like Alaska, sounds like.
yes, yeah, and
Yeah.
then for hotels, I like to look at some of the kind of smaller boutique brands. So, small luxury hotels, Leaders Club, Preferred. Now, these are typically luxury properties, a little bit more expensive. But if you know you're going to be staying at one, a lot of them offer really nice perks for basic members. I think a couple of them offer even free breakfast for basic members. You typically get room upgrades for basic members. So, definitely worth it to just sign up for those programs.
And don't forget too, like, if you're a business traveler, your company doesn't necessarily get those points, you do. So that helps a lot with business travelers like you, I'm sure, and me to take our families, because we get those points, and that kinda racks up a little bit faster when you've got those
Absolutely.
business trips.
Right.
Alright, so is it ever wor okay, in terms of business trips, because I got status, titanium with Marriott, years ago, and before that, I had platinum. Uh, but there really was no difference between platinum. I mean, there was hardly any difference between platinum and titanium, and I worked so hard to get titanium. So do you think it's ever worth it, like paying for status or getting those extra credit cards, or should you just stick to the free perks?
I think that there can be instances where it's worth it. So, first of all, a lot of hotel programs with credit cards, this isn't technically paying for status, but getting a credit card, even for no annual fee, you can get the next status level. So I think Choice and Wyndham definitely offer the $0 annual fee cards that give you the next level, the entry level status. And then there are also some programs like Intercontinental Ambassador, where you're paying to reach a certain status level. But similar to credit cards, I like to kind of look at what are the benefits, the monetary benefits I'm getting out of this. Will it outweigh what I'm paying? So for Intercontinental, for example, it's $225 a year. Seems like a lot, but you do get one free weekend night a year, which
Oh,
again basically pays for itself. And then you get 4 p.m. late checkout. So you're basically adding like a full extra day to your trip with that. So I think it can be worth it. Now, again, the key is consistency. So only if you know you're going to be staying at Intercontinental hotels would that be worth it, right? So if
right.
you're not, if you're kind of bouncing around a little bit, I definitely don't think it would be worth it. But you made a really
Yeah.
interesting point about kind of like the stagnation. Once you hit a certain threshold, you don't really see some big perk changes as you get there, and I think it's pretty common, but I do see that changing a little bit. There are a couple programs. Alaska last year started their kind of milestone rewards, and American Airlines does this as well as IHG, where you get kind of special perks between each status level, which I like that model. I think it's a nice little kind of bonus for those that are maybe stuck, can't quite get up to the next level, but are hitting a certain mileage threshold. So
Okay,
kind
so
of a
is there anything that is there anything that I missed that you wanna tell consumers about these rewards programs? Any, I don't know, tips or insider secrets again? 'Cause I always like those. I mean, that's me
Mhm.
personally.
I
I'm
think
learning from you too, Elizabeth.
oh my gosh, this is a great conversation. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people ask me, are perks worth it? And I feel like I'm trying so hard to get this perk. Is it worth it to get it? So if it's good with you, I would love to do like a love it or leave it for perks for
Yes,
members.
yes.
So
Uh,
for airlines, we'll start with airlines.
yeah.
I would do love the free checked bag, as we talked about. Right there is just money that is staying in your pocket, and it is typically earned with the first status year. So it's not going to require thousands and thousands of dollars of spending before you earn it. It's also usually included with most entry level credit cards. My leave it would unfortunately be lounge access, because it's very, very difficult to achieve, especially if you're trying to get it kind of organically just through your travel and not buying a very expensive card or paying
Credit
an
card.
annual fee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For hotels, my love it would probably be late checkout. Again, usually
Yeah.
pretty attainable. You earn it typically within the first 10 nights of staying with a brand. My personal favorite is early check-in, because I like to always take the first flight into my destination. That one is a little bit more inconsistent. Some brands you earn it at 10 nights, some you earn it at 100 nights. So
Oh,
if that's important to you, definitely take a look at what the brand offers before you sign up. Leave it might be the room upgrades for hotels, mainly because of the inconsistency with that. I think a lot of people expect to be upgraded to the suite right away when they hit that level. It's dependent on property. It's dependent on the staff member you're talking to, usually. And now they're automating it a little bit more, so there's less of that, but just not a guarantee. So not necessarily worth fighting for, I would say.
you just mentioned the lounge access, and I totally agree with you. Trying to attain that status is just almost, I mean, it's really difficult unless you're a frequent flyer, business
Yeah,
flyer, or what have you. But,
yeah,
my secret, and I don't really like to bring this up because I'm so afraid they're gonna take it away, is I do get that credit card it is pricey. It's about 600, I think, and $95 a year, and, it keeps going up. But it has saved me with my family, or I travel with my crew on food, just food in the airport, or waters, or coffees, or they do have free cocktails as well. So that has saved me a lot in the airport, but that's also because I travel a lot, as well. But yeah, but trying to attain the status is almost impossible. So I agree with you, and
yeah.
I love the early check-in. I love that because there's nothing worse than you get somewhere, and I take the first flight out as well, and you're like, "Oh gosh, I can't even check in till 4 o'clock, and I wanna get the
Right.
kids to the pool because that's the first
Yes,
thing they probably wanna do." Right? And, yeah, that's a huge perk, and then if you have little kids too, a late checkout at 4, you're not stressed out getting them up, getting them breakfast, getting them up by 11 or whatever that time is.
right,
So
right.
those perks definitely pay off, so I love that. But, Elizabeth, where can people find out more information about US News and World Report in general, also these reward programs and the study? Where can they find out more information?
Yes, so if you visit travel.usnews.com, you will see our rewards programs. You'll also see all of our best vacations, best hotels, basically anything you need to know for travel. You can also find us on social media, which are all listed below. And yeah, we hope you check us out.
I love it. Some of the best and most reputable information and done from a way that, we're not it's a true study and a true survey. So I love it. Thank you so much. Where can people follow you as a travel editor? Because I hear you write articles and you have a lot more to say.
Yes, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Von Tersch, and then I do a lot for our U.S. News Travel Instagram as well. So you can find I'm attempting some fun reels on there, so you can see my face a little bit more.
Oh, even better, even better. We can see your face now. So, thank you so much. This was great. I loved having you on the show. And as I told Elizabeth before we got on, everybody, I actually got the magazine US News and World Report back in the day when I was a teenager. That's how much I was interested in travel. But now, of course, it's all it's online and everything. So, thank you so much again, Elizabeth. And I'd love to have you on the show again. It was really informative.
Absolutely, that was so much fun. Thank you for having
Yeah.
me.
Okay, that was so great talking to Elizabeth. I don't know about you all, but I feel even though I travel a lot, I get confused on some of these reward programs and the points. And so it's great to have like a non-biased opinion on what are the best rewards versus somebody picking this is the best reward. So that was great. Loved having her on and getting some real information about, should we join rewards programs or what have you. Now I got to do my research. Thanks so much for listening to Round Trip. For more inspiration, follow us at Round Trip Colleen Kelly on all socials. You can also visit roundtripcolleenkelly.com for more information and travel articles. And if you'd like to get in touch, we would love it. You can reach us at roundtripcolleenkelly@gmail.com. And finally, if you like what you hear, please follow, subscribe, and leave us a comment here. We would love to have you follow us.